Good afternoon and happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the premiere of In the Know with Jennie and my sidekick Tish, and she's in the background. She's my producer. We'll bring her on in a minute. I'm so happy to be here this afternoon. Most of you already know who I am. I'm Jennie Nicasio. I'm also the host. Well, actually, the host. What would you call it? Creator and host. I guess it would be a co-host because I have two other gentlemen on the show with me of Chasing Prophecy on Tuesday nights. We just had a fantastic show, and I'm so happy to be here today. I'm a little nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. I've already been on here how many times the last 3.5 years, but I'm so glad to be here. So this is a different thing, and actually, I'm really excited about this because this is going to be my fun. Because I have to be a little bit careful in the evening show because it's paranormal, but this is not paranormal. We're going to break the barriers and tackle any topic with boldness and wit. So remember that. From the depths of relationships to what's happening on the news, political stuff, personal growth, there's nothing off limits today. In the next, hopefully, a couple years from now, we'll see how it goes. No subject is off limits, guys. Remember that. So if you have a topic you want to tackle with me, please drop it in the comments. We are on multiple platforms, including Roku. So this is streaming live right now. We're also in New Orleans on 105.3 in New Orleans and 107.7 in New Orleans, and YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. Oh, I can name a few. And we're on SoundCloud, and hopefully we'll be on Spotify and iHeart soon too. And yesterday, we're just coming off of the dreaded holiday. Tish, what do you think? Isn't it one of my dreaded holidays? Yes, it is. And I want to tell you, Valentine's Day, hmm, I cannot say it's one of my favorite holidays. I'd rather soon go to the dentist than have Valentine's Day. It's just, I don't know. I'm divorced. I haven't been in a serious relationship in quite a while, and that's why we have our next our guest who's on the show with us, and she's going to completely understand how I feel, and a lot of people completely understand how I feel as Valentine's Day is over, and it can often be a holiday that is exclusively caters to couples, married couples. However, it's important to understand and remember, guys, that the holiday is ultimately what you make of it. Now, that one song with Miley Cyrus, you know what I'm talking about? Being single doesn't mean that you can't celebrate and enjoy that day. Right, Kel? Tish?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So, you can use a holiday as an opportunity to treat yourself. You can get it, Sunday. You can get yourself flowers like I did, just like the song. I bought myself a little flower. And there's plenty of ways to show appreciation for the loved ones in your life. And especially, if you have a loved one, like I have a granddaughter, and I've been showering her with love, and makes me feel good because Valentine's Day is not just about lovers and married people. It's about being with the people you love. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in a romantic relationship to show that love. And if you can also choose to ignore it, like a lot of people have done, and a lot of single people who have been broken, bitter, and burnt from relationships, they try to ignore it too, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it doesn't matter how you want to resonate with it. There's no pressure to participate in the holiday. You don't have to, as long as it brings you joy. But there's people like me who want to fulfill that. I'd like to start dating. I've tried. Oh my God, how many things have I tried? Oh, come on, Tish. You know what I'm talking about. How many times Bumble was it? Bumble, Match.com.
You went on a couple dates this year. You did.
Yeah, but
But they didn't amount to anything because you weren't feeling it. You gotta feel it.
yeah, you got to feel it, and hopefully, maybe our guest will be able to help me do that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. We have Marcela Owens. She's from Tawkify. Marcela, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Marcela Owen, and I'm at Tawkify. I'm a matchmaker, and I'm also a coach at Tawkify. And I've been there for a while. I come from a corporate background, so I've been exposed to all kinds of different scenarios, and I understand what people are looking for and what their points of perhaps nervousness or anxiety are. So I like to walk them through it and introduce them to people that could potentially be compatible with. So super excited to be here. I love what I do and I love sharing. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I'm so glad you could do this for our premiere show. I think it's fantastic that you took the time. And I was talking to one of your corporate guys. I guess
Yeah,
he's
Steve.
Peter. Yeah, he seems
Peter.
like a really a good guy, and it sounds like a really good how would you say service that you
Platform.
offer.
Yeah. Yeah. Different platform, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was doing some research.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's another matchmaking service called Plenty of not Plenty of Fish. That's a swiper. Is that what
It
that is?
is. Yeah,
Plenty of
that's an
Fish is a
app.
swiper. Bumble
Yes.
is a swiper.
Correct.
Tinder,
Hinge. Mm-hmm.
all those
Hinge.
Match.com, eHarmony. How are
Correct.
you different than like Just Lunch and these other services?
Yeah, I think the piece that really differentiates us is that there's a discretion or confidentiality piece to it. So we tend to really focus on priorities and preferences, values, what people are really looking for that's important to them, that lifestyle alignment, whatever it is. And we keep pretty much everything confidential until the time of the date, except for first names. And if there's a connection, then we'll exchange numbers, last names, or up to the person. But typically, if there's a connection, we'll do that. If there isn't, that other person only has your first name, and that's it. So you don't have to deal with that at all. And the other piece that's super, super important to differentiate and know is that we match based on priorities and preferences rather than just what a person looks like, because that's traditionally that's been the norm in the dating world, right? Let me see a picture and then I'll tell you if I want to go out with them or not. But what about their values and compatibilities? And you may have so much in common. Maybe you're not attracted 150%, right? But
Yeah.
if you give that person a chance, get to
Yeah,
know them,
that's
right? That's a little different, right? That what's out there. Tell me, I mean,
yeah.
you've been on the apps, so
Well, you know what I find disheartening about the apps is because even the men don't look like who they say they are.
right.
I mean, you see these pictures and there's another this is one of the questions I had, and that was way back. Like, what about the photo, like the filters? You're not
Filters,
getting, yeah, you're not getting what you
exactly.
the filters is they're using them all over the place. I mean, there's probably a filter on this camera. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, you just
y-
never know these days, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
no,
who
excellent point. And that's another component. So every matchmaker, before sending a match out with their client, will interview and see them obviously on Zoom, right? On
yeah.
camera. And confirm that they look like their pictures, confirm that they're a real person, right?
So do you use Zoom? Is that how you guys work it?
We do use Zoom. We're looking at potentially other platforms, but right now it is Zoom.
Okay. So if I call, tell me the process. I want to try this Talkify. I
Mhm.
want to sign up. So do I call up, say, "Hey, listen, I want you guys to fix me up with somebody."
Yeah, good question. So, our website indicates if you're interested in learning more about the service, you call a number, and basically they will match you with a matchmaker based on perhaps your background. If you're in your 50s and you want someone that has lived a little bit, like I'm in my 50s, right? So,
Mhm.
maybe work with someone like that, or if they're younger, in their 30s, they may want a matchmaker that they'll feel more comfortable with. At the end of the day, I mean, I work with all kinds of different ages and demographics, and I'm able to connect with everyone, totally fine. But it, that's the first step. And then we have different match
Mhm.
opportunities. So depending on how many matches you want to go on and what your goals are. And then the next step would be to meet with a matchmaker where we delve deeper into what you want, what your priorities are, what your values are, your lifestyle, those types of things, so we can match you appropriately and what's most important to you. And this is a really important part of the conversation because you may have a preconceived notion of what you want, right? You may
Mhm.
have in your mind, okay, I want someone that's 6 foot, this, and that. But then when we talk and I help you reflect on the reasons why you want that, you may change your mind and try something different. Or as you go through your journey, you may change your mind and try something different. So once we determine what that is that you want, then I start searching. So you don't have to swipe anything. You don't have to do that piece. I will do all the searching. We go through hundreds of potential matches, and once we hand select, we interview them and make sure that he is someone that would be compatible with you. And then we plan the date, we send you the date. And this is a really cool part of this platform, is that we get feedback from both parties. So often when you're on an app, if you don't communicate with the person afterwards, you don't know what they thought. You don't know what happened on the date, right?
Mhm.
Under this platform, we're able to do that, which I think is super valuable.
Yeah, it sounds like it's something that would be a really great to try. I mean, especially
Yeah.
when you brought up being over the 50 crowd. Okay, now I'm over the 50 crowd in a month. Okay,
Okay.
so it's like how like this is something would be great for me because I've went on. Oh my god, so many terrible dates, and then I have this is one of the problems I have. You meet somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is how you would be able to rule out those kind of men. The last 2 years I've been on I met guys through Match.com. I matched and they just want sex. They just want to do phone sex. They just want to do text sex.
Got
And
it.
at my age, we are beyond that. We don't want to do that anymore. And in fact, I just have met a guy that I thought was wonderful. Um, there's somebody wants to know that what's the name of the show? The name of the show is In the Know. Okay. So that's the name. So we're gonna teach you what's in the know. Okay, Miss Gina. Okay. So what I was saying was I just met a guy in
Mm-hmm.
person, and this
Mm-hmm.
is where I would like to know, is it me? Seriously, is it me or is it just all men are like this? Now, men in the audience, or if you're listening, I want your input. Go into the comments and please let me know, is it just me? I met a guy, he seemed really nice. Okay. He was attractive. He seemed like a really great personality, and
Mm-hmm.
I really thought he was into me. Okay, we talked on the phone. We
Okay.
met in person. I mean, it wasn't through dating. And then all he wants to do is talk dirty on the phone in text.
Mm.
Okay, now this would be a great service to use that you can weed out men like that, right? Am I
Correct.
correct?
Correct. We do our best to do that. And one of the questions, once we determine what the client wants, because
Hmm.
not everybody wants what you just mentioned, but
Yeah.
most of our clientele does. They want a long-term monogamous relationship. Some want marriage, some marriage isn't the horizon, some not, right?
Hmm.
But those are things that we ask up front, to not to really get them to say what you want to hear, but more to get an idea. What is your relationship style? What are you looking for? Because they don't know if my client wants a one night stand or if my client wants a long term relationship. So I don't tell them anything about my clients. So I try to really delve into who their true self is and what they want, so then I can determine if this would be a good fit or not. And I do have some, interactions where, oh, I'm just dating around right now. I don't really know what
Hmm.
I want. So I know I would never set that person up with you. you know. But if
Yeah.
you know, right,
I mean, come on. I mean, we did that in, my
in
third. We
high
didn't have.
school,
We didn't. When
in
we
our
didn't have. We
20s,
didn't. Yeah, but we didn't have that text technology. Tish, am I correct? We didn't have. You're
it was
younger
so
than me.
different. Yeah.
Like guys are like that no matter what age they are. They're just I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I want to say, but they're just
You can
like
say
that.
what this.
They're
We're going to
just
talk about.
they're hornballs. That's all it
Okay, they're
is.
hornballs.
They are.
Okay, that.
It doesn't matter what age they are, whether they're in their late 20s or if they're almost 60. Like they have one thing on their mind. They're thinking with their pickle, and that's all there is to
Yeah.
it.
Definitely, you hear that now. If you guys, if there's men in the audience or comments, please, we want to hear your view because I find it they're all horny. I mean, really, they're all horny. Okay. Pittsburgh Paranormal, you're a man, right? So you're just horny. Is that it?
Really?
So I think that's the problem. I mean, but isn't Marcel, isn't there a way that you can ask people like you find a man for me, okay?
Mhm.
And you're gonna say, hey, listen, she's not into all that. She's not into that phone sex stuff. Unless now listen, don't get me wrong, I'm not a prude. If you're in a relationship, that's fun. Okay. You've been
Right,
dating. You don't do it on your first date. You don't
right,
do it on your second date, and you don't do it on your third.
right,
Let me
right,
warm up to you a little bit. You know
right,
what?
right,
You
exactly. Yeah, I mean, being on this platform takes investment. I mean, not only financially, but also in time and energy. So it takes energy to be interviewed by matchmakers to potentially date someone. So if someone's looking for something quick for just sex, they don't typically take the time to really delve into who they are because we ask very insightful questions, you
Mhm.
know, like, what do you bring into a relationship? What are your best traits that you bring to a relationship? And people get thrown off. Oh, let me think about that for a second, right? So it almost like it goes beyond that superficial level of the apps perhaps because you're looking at a picture and maybe a profile that you don't even know if it's real or not.
Mhm.
And as a matchmaker, we become very intuitive and we can sense when people are being genuine or not. And that takes a play into selecting someone too. So you can typically tell based on their answers, based on what they do. And for the most part, I would say 80% of the people I talk to really want a partnership, companionship, long term relationship,
Mhm.
monogamous, and potentially marriage. Not everybody wants that, right? But for
Yeah.
those, some do, right?
I mean, yeah, some people do want that. I mean, that's
Hmm.
what Pittsburgh Paranormal says that women can be too pushy. That's true too. I mean,
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the
well,
end of the day, it's not perfect science. We're all human beings, right?
mhm.
There's going to be different types of people all the time, and it's not. It's a. I hate to say this, but it's almost a numbers game. Like if you really want to find your person, you have to get out there and exercise your dating muscle. I call it
Dating
because
muscle.
right because you're shifting and you're evolving as a person and you're being shaped for that excellent
Mhm.
person that's going to be your person, right? And in the
Yeah.
meantime, you have to kiss some frogs, you know.
Yeah, I've kissed a lot of frogs in my life.
Yeah.
And actually there's one in my pond that I really become quite fond of every year. So I mean, I
Yeah.
was like, okay. Okay, so you sign up.
Mhm.
It's expensive. So this is for somebody who is a professional. It's the date.
Well,
They have the
let me say something on that. So I think expensive is subjective. I think it depends. Where do you want to spend your time and energy and your funds?
Mhm.
Um, what type of membership do you want? There's all kinds of different options and there's promotions. So it just depends on the person and the energy and the effort that they want to put into it and that
Okay, so
intent.
this is an investment. Now, Gina wants to know, do you screen them for any mental health issues or do you do a background check?
We do background checks. Yes.
Well, that's great because
Mhm.
I spent a lot of money doing background checks on the guys that I've dated. Before, like if I met them on like a Bumble or Plenty of Fish. I never met anybody on the Tinder. I heard that's a pickup place. So I
Yeah,
would
I've heard
try
that
not
too.
to do that. Okay, now, what did you like with COVID's they said is over. Okay, so you don't have to worry so much about that. But so um
But actually,
ha-
let's talk a little bit about that because that did shift the dating world, I believe,
okay.
in that people are really looking to are more meaningful about connecting with people. So if you're going to spend time with someone, you want it to be intentional. And also, it sort of opened the virtual interaction part of
Hmm.
dating and made it like more mainstream. And so people are getting on Zoom or getting on video chat or whatever it is and having a conversation that before you were meeting in person. So this opens up the opportunity to meet someone perhaps statewide or even nationwide.
Hmm.
Because I always say your special someone may not be in your vicinity. You don't know where that person is, you know?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Like, I want the guy next door, literally. Okay,
No,
I
I
don't want
understand.
I don't want to have to travel to them, and I don't think I should be expected to travel to them. And I know that's putting myself like on a like a short, not too much to go. If you
Right.
don't want to drive far to get to them. So
Mhm.
do you cater to people who don't want to meet anybody out of state?
Yeah, we do, absolutely. But let me ask you that something about that. So, would you rather date someone within your vicinity, next door, who is mediocre
No.
and good looking, but mediocre in terms of how he treats you, or someone that's maybe a couple hours away, but he's fantastic, you're
Yeah,
attracted
but
to him?
then how are you gonna hook up? I mean, meet and stuff if they're
Things
too.
work out when love is there. Trust me. I've
Yeah,
seen
I
people
never.
move across the
Well, you know
country.
what? Everybody I know that met somebody that didn't do well, because I know two
Yeah,
people that met their husbands,
yeah.
um, way far away, and it just seems like it didn't work out.
Sure, and it
Because they
depends. It depends on the person, but start where you feel comfortable and then go from there. That's what I would suggest. But yes,
So how do
absolutely.
you deal with scammers that try to scam people? Like they say that they're who they
The
are. Did you ever
catfishing,
run into anything like that before with
I have
Tawkify?
I have not at all. So we vet everybody that comes on. We ask very personal questions and information, and
Mhm.
then we do the background checks. So I haven't heard of anything like that happen in the past. Not that
Mhm.
someone couldn't hack or things like that, right? The technical world is crazy these days, but I haven't seen that, and that's another component of the safety
Mhm.
because we do talk to every single person, right? We do look at all of their personal information. We do those background checks. So that becomes another layer of security that perhaps the apps don't have.
Well, that's great that if you really can check out people. If you
Hmm.
if you're just joining us today, we have Marcela Owens from Tawkify. She's here to help us, enlighten us, and educate us on dating using the Tawkify service. And if you have a question for Marcela, please comment in the comments. And if you,
Absolutely.
I do believe, I think, let me see how many we have here. We're getting a lot from YouTube, so I sometimes we don't see all the comments in Facebook, but I do see
Oh,
them.
right. With StreamYard, it doesn't show you all the comments all the
Yeah,
time.
I do see. I
Yeah.
see. I see a few. I think. Yeah, we're getting the ones from Talkify. We have Joe Montallo in the background. If you'd like to jump in, if you have a question for if you have a question for Marcella, because you're a man, we love to hear what you have to say
Yeah.
since we are pretty, but I think he's being shy right now. Okay. um, Tish, do you have any questions?
No, but I see that Gina has a question for me. So
Oh,
if
okay.
that's all right, I'll answer it.
Yes,
She said
definitely.
that I'm younger and how's dating in my age group. Well, I'm actually a married lady, but I have a couple friends that are in the dating age. They're in their 20s. I have a cousin actually who's I think she's like 25. She's like ready to she has a boyfriend. She's ready to settle down. She wants to get married. She wants to have kids. but he's not ready yet. So I think a lot of that happens around this age group. And then also dating in general, I think everybody's just on like Tinder or Bumble, or I know Tinder is really big with my age group right now. I'm pretty sure it still is. Because I guess it's just easier to do. So I don't even think people like meet in person anymore. I feel like it's always on an app these days. And if I wasn't married, I don't even know how I would meet somebody. I guess I would be on Tinder too. Who knows?
That's one app that I never tried, Tinder, because I thought it was just a hookup place. I'm not sure. I don't know
I
about
know a
that.
couple people that met their now husbands on Tinder, but I think it is more
Is it
hookup culture.
okay? I think it's more, yeah. So, Marcella, so the purpose of matchmaking with a service like that is to find somebody who's a quality, like partner,
Correct.
marriage material, mostly marriage material. So if you guys want to, you should check it out on YouTube. I do see there's a couple, what do you call it? YouTube videos. I think there's some on there's a couple different Facebook pages, but I didn't see too many. So, so what should you look for in a matchmaker? So say somebody doesn't want to try your service. I mean, there's not too many around here. I know there's plenty. What is it? No, just lunch. So what should they look for?
So it really is going to depend on the person, right? So, and what you feel comfortable with. Do you feel more comfortable with someone around your age, or do you feel comfortable with someone that is maybe older for that wisdom or that experience? And then what is important to you in terms of priorities and preferences, because that's what's going to drive the search for those matches. So every single matchmaker at Tawkify is completely passionate about what they do. I know all of them. We do what we love. It doesn't even feel like work, and when you do that, you put your everything into it. We have the best intentions for all of our clients. So in terms of picking one over the other, it's just really preference. Like I'll give you an example, like from a spiritual perspective, some people want someone who's their same faith, right? So maybe that would be something to look at. But at the end of the day, we're all certified matchmakers. We all love what we do. And we all have different personalities and styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we will have their best interest at heart. So it's really just personal preference from a client perspective.
Great. That gives me a good vibe here.
Yeah.
So how effective is this matchmaking? Is this considered the same as online matchmaking? I mean, or do you actually sit down with somebody, or is this considered online Talkify?
I would not consider it online because it's a completely different experience,
Okay.
right? When you're online, you don't have a dating advocate interviewing the person you're going to go out on the date prior to you connecting, right?
Okay.
So from that perspective, right, it's completely different. And we really take time to understand what you're looking for at a deeper level, as well as ask super important questions to the candidates that we interview. So just by looking at that, it's different. And we're also there for our clients when they're not on a match, right? If there's a question, like I share TED Talks, I share cool books, it just it's different for every matchmaker and client, but we're there for you as your advocate, your guide, to talk about if you're a little nervous before a date, we're there for you, things like that. So I think that experience is very, very different from the app experience of just looking at a picture and deciding if you want to go on a date or not, right?
Yeah.
And actually even hearing that that's changing in the dating world, and there's a shift even with the younger generation that they want to be part of a community with shared interests, and that's where they're participating. Or even social media, that's where they're looking for a match these days. Not, and the app is kind of dying down a little bit.
Okay. Gina wants to know, do you have categories for gals looking for financially secure men?
We absolutely do. So we talk about that with our clients, and then we ask for the candidate to share that information with us. And at the end of the day, I always say this because, of course, we all want someone that's financially responsible, right? And stable. At the end of the day, we look at lifestyle because you could have someone that makes, let's say, 500K a year, but they
Mhm.
have an ex-wife that takes a lot for alimony,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
have
And
three
kids, spouse
kids,
support too.
right?
Yeah.
Child
Oh,
support,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
you could have someone that makes 150K but owns their home straight out. They don't have any, expenses like that. So it's really about lifestyle, and we delve into that as well. But good question.
Oh, that's good to hear. What are the requirements for your members? Is there requirements for your members?
In terms of
Just do you have a criteria that they have to meet?
no, because I mean, other than passing the background check, right, and having intentions like that, the reason why is because our demographic is so vast that there's someone for everybody. And
Okay.
so while you may be looking for, someone in their 40s who makes X amount or is have
Hmm.
these different traits, somebody else could want something completely different opposite of you. So we want to cater to everyone that wants to be intentional about their dating and move
Hmm.
forward to find love in a different way. So yeah, I think that there's someone for everybody. So
That's great. That's good to hear. And how often do you communicate? Like, say I sign up, how often are you going to be communicate with me?
excellent question. Because I mentioned I love what I do, super passionate. I want my clients to feel super, super supported. So the stance, basic policy is that every week and a half, 2 weeks, you make contact unless you have a
Hmm.
match, right? I have an open door policy, so I offer my links to schedule a time with me or text me anytime
Good.
because
That's
I want to be there for that person. Because sometimes when you're feeling something is for that moment, and if you need to talk it out, perfect. Send me a quick text or let's get on the phone or a Zoom, and I'm open to doing that.
well.
But the stance is, every week and a half, 2 weeks, we make contact.
Well, that's really good to hear.
Mhm.
So, so who does the interviewing of the possible candidates or partner, whatever you
The
would?
matchmakers.
So you would
So if
do
you're
all
my
the.
client, I will do all your interviews because I'm the one that gets to know you. I'm the one that spends time with you initially, about an hour and a half to talk to you and understand what you need, what you're looking for. So I would be doing all those interviews.
Well, that's so much for
Yeah,
your
and the
story.
swiping for you.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Now, I sign up for this service. Now,
Yes.
how long does it usually take for me to get a match?
Oh, good question. So our guarantee is that you will have one every month, depending on how many matches you have. Give and take. It could be sooner. It could be maybe 5 weeks, just depending on what you're looking for, right? So if what you're looking for is reasonable based on your priorities and preferences, then excellent. But if you're telling me that you will only want to date someone that's 6 foot and taller, or let's say 6'2", right? And I'm telling you, the stat
Dark
is
hair and dark eyes, and it looks
right.
sort of like
So
the knight in shiny barn.
yeah,
Yeah.
14% of the population is male population is 6 foot and over, and that includes
Those
unavailable
poor
people.
little short guys don't have a chance.
So the average is about 5'9", 5'10". So, it depends, right? Uh, but once a month is what we stick by.
Now, once I sign up for the service, can I take a break if I just feel like it's not working out or I'm getting kind of burned out from all the dating I've been doing?
Yes, absolutely. So if we're in the middle of what we call a date cycle, let's say we talked, you told me everything you want, and I'm starting to search, we ask that you go on that date first and then pause if you need to, absolutely, if you need to travel, if you want to explore a relationship more exclusively, if you're just wanting to take a self-care break, whatever it is,
Okay.
you can absolutely pause. Mhm.
And can you give me some success stories? Like, what's the success, percentage of you actually do get somebody and you end up married or in a relationship?
Yeah, so we have a lot of engagements and marriages in at Tawkify. I would say one of my personal success stories is someone that came to us as a client. He had a 12 match package that he purchased, and we were on. I think it was his fourth or fifth match. And he was a little bit shy. He was not able to really ask questions without sounding robotic or scripted. So I recommended that he went to Toastmasters, improve his speaking
Mm.
skills, take an improv class, that type of thing. He followed my guidance. He met someone a couple months later and let me know he wanted to pause his account because they're dating exclusively and
Oh,
like
okay.
6 months. I actually need to check in with him because I want to see, you know, what it turned into. But um,
Wow.
I thought that was great because inevitably, when you're under this platform, you're going to grow personally. There's going to be that growth component because it's going to change you
Hmm.
and shape you into that person that you'll be for that special person for you. So
Well, that's
yeah,
encouraging. Maybe you should do like a find me a match and come back on the show and see if we found a match
yeah.
for
That would be awesome.
and we're just going to take a pause and do a shout out for the sponsor of the show, which is UPRN Radio. Thank you.
Okay.
And we're going to go on to a different direction. And if you have any more questions or comments for Marcella, because we're moving on a little bit, but you can still talk about Tawkify. Still, what is this? I think I have one already. Narcissism personality disorder, specifically men. Sorry, men, but are you able to stop a narc? I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough. I
That's
mean,
for next week's show.
yeah.
Well, we're going to switch gears a little bit since it's a little bit after Valentine's Day. I was on a TikTok. I follow a guy on TikTok. He's a doctor and he talks about pickles. Um, so use your imagination what a pickle is, okay? And we, myself and I, would like to know, does pickle size really matter? Okay, we're totally going off gears, but Marcella's going to hang out with us too
Mhm.
for this discussion because we had some people on Facebook. We did a little survey, and Tish, I hope you have the mic, and Sean, I want to. We're going to talk about pickle size, and does it really matter to pleasing your woman or your lover, your wife, or yourself, for that matter? So this is an open forum. So please, gals, men, we love to hear your comments about pickle size. There's all types of pickles. Okay. And we can go on and talk literally about pickles, about spicy pickles, sweet pickles, short pickles, long pickles, fat pickles, skinny pickles, and micro pickles that Tish likes to say. Now, going to our comments section. What does Sean say? My virgin ears is right. Yes. That's why we're talking about pickles. Okay. Um, I got a few comments, and there's probably more. I haven't been on Facebook since this morning, but we have a person. There's some. One of the comments was, "I bet a good eater will make ladies not think about anything else, as many ladies only have orgasms from oral stimulation." That is true. So it doesn't really matter if you have a big pickle or a little pickle, right,
Mhm.
Tish?
And
Well,
as long as they know what they're doing, because some guys talk a big talk and they don't know what they're doing down there.
Very true.
yeah, and I personally don't think a big pickle is necessary, and it's not very comfortable either. So, depending on, I don't know, you might have access to a big tunnel. I don't know if you're a big pickle. Gina says it depends, but there are more than intercourse. Yes, we were saying that to please a
Mhm.
woman. Yeah, we were saying that the one comment said about it's what you do with your pickle that matters.
I
I
mean,
don't.
I think
Go ahead. I lost you there.
you don't want one that's too big, but then you don't want one that's too small either, because that's not any good.
No, I'm Mary Jo. Hi, hi, Mary Jo. Mary Jo, what do you think? Do you think it matters what size the pickle? Now, you're already in the comments, so I want to hear what you have to say. This is an open forum, and we're talking about pickles. If you're just joining us today, literally, there could be all kind of pickles, but we're talking about one specific type of pickle. So I'm not going to get it. You can use your imagination, Mary Jo. Okay. Um, yeah, I think it all depends, and if I don't know if you love that person, does it really matter?
Right.
I mean, come on, say that you're dating a guy and you haven't had an intercourse with him. Okay. And you really like the guy. I mean, everything about him. He has a good job. He's kind. He has a good
Mhm.
heart. He's a gentleman. He's good looking. He's super good looking. And then he doesn't really want to get intimate with you because he has a small pickle. Are you going to keep dating that guy? And what if he tells you? What if he tells you before, "Hey, listen, I have a micro peenie." Okay, what are you gonna do? Okay, that's those things that we have to talk about. I mean, this is dating. We're talking about dating, and we're talking about relationships, and this is a part of a relationship, and it's a very important part. What does Gina says? Depends upon a lot. We as we age, yeah, as we age. To me, as we age, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40 might, but as you get older, I don't think it really matters. Um, but one of the comments said, helps to have 8 inches to full pleasure, I've been told by partners. 8 inches is ridiculous. Okay. I don't think you need 8 inches. Am I being weird? Is 8 inches big?
I think 8 inches is pretty big. I have a person talking to me on the side saying that pickle size doesn't matter. It's just what they do in other ways that matters.
Yeah,
Orally,
Tara. Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
thing.
Definitely.
100%. I would say foreplay is more important.
You know, I don't think there's a big deal about it. I mean, I was listening to Greg Gutfeld one night, and they were talking about that. And there's like, because he's a really short guy, okay? So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't know. Does it? Somebody out there who's short? Does it play into pickle size? You know how you had that old thing about hand
The hand.
size? I don't even know if that's true, but I heard about feet size. No, that's a different one. What do you think? What is Gina saying? Oh, I get it. I think we already read this. Dr. Ruth, what is she talking? I'm not Dr. Ruth. It depends upon a lot. We already said that about the age. I grew up reading Dr. Ruth. Yeah, Dr. Ruth would be the greatest one to be on the show about this. But Stephanie on Facebook said, yes, to an extent, it does matter. Okay, of course, things like foreplay, like we were talking about, and such matters just as much. And it depends on how well you connected with the person. Yes, that's what I was saying. And if you can compromise and communicate about it, you do or don't like it in bed. Yes, I definitely think it has. I don't think it's a big deal. And all the guys out there got quiet. So, come on, don't be so shy and don't be a prude. Yeah, but I think that when intimacy in a relationship, it should be more about who you are. It doesn't matter down there. I don't think, and I don't think. Yeah, Tara. What did she say? Yeah, Sean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Tara, what do you think? Does it matter as we get older? I don't think it matters one bit, especially women don't think like men too. They don't think like, "Oh, I need to have it today. I don't need to have it tomorrow." It's like out of our minds, There's not I don't know, unless you're in love with somebody in a relationship, that's what matters. Do you agree, Marcella?
Absolutely, 100%. I think pickles are in the eye of the beholder. And it depends on the person too, right? And like I said, I think what happens before, I think Gina mentioned that too, or what they do. I think foreplay and getting a woman, excited, and not only physically but emotionally,
Mhm.
if the guy is supportive and, trustworthy and all those things, we will love anything about that guy if we're treated that way. Um, I mean, there's always an exception, right? If someone physically just needs that, I get it. Uh, but personally, I don't consider it that important.
There's the doctor that I was referring to. He could actually do a surgery to enhance the size and the girth. And there are a lot of plastic surgeons that can do the same thing. So if it's like a micro thing going on, I don't totally think it could be corrected. And you don't
Mm,
just you can get that fix if it really matters. And but then I want to ask one of the guys out there that does supplements. I mean, you see all those commercials. Do they work? The supplements you take. Does anybody know anything about that? What does Sean say? The man only wants to please their woman. Men are afraid they're not fulfilling and keeping them away. That is really good. Honestly, men are
mm,
scared. You said it, and I'm glad you said that because we need as women need to know that. I mean, a lot like you go on a date, okay? Um, I sometimes don't understand why men don't call back. You
yeah.
know, after you've been out on a date, like, he seemed like he really liked me. Um, I don't understand it. Why didn't he call? So Marcella, why you go on the what are the fail rates on something like you have a
Yeah,
night?
the ghosting. I actually was looking at a stat this week on that, that about 25% of daters ghost. And I was,
Why?
yeah, I was personally trying to understand why. I think that it's easier for them to just not get back than face that it just didn't work out for them. It's an easier getting out of it to just, oh, okay, I'm just going to block them, ignore them. And it also has a component of being narcissistic. That's what the experts say. I don't know. And then I read this stat that just blew me away, that 11% of men that have been ghosted want to date that person even more. So I'm wondering, is that a sign of masochism instead?
Oh, so you mean if I ghost a guy, they want me more?
That's what I read.
I'm gonna have to try that.
I agree with that because they want what they can't have.
Right? Yeah.
I know with my now husband at the time, we had a couple breakups here and there, and during our last breakup before we got back together for good, I just completely stopped talking to him unless he reached out to me first. I was always like, "Oh, good morning, good night," like the first to say all that, and then eventually we broke up and I did not reach out to him not one time. And then he came back and he was texting me good morning and texting me good night, asking me what I was
Mhm.
doing. We're married now, but I mean, I do agree. I think they want what they can't have, and once you stop like putting that out there, they want you again.
Exactly.
Wow, I never thought of that. I mean, I personally know when you're talking to somebody and you ask them a question and then they don't respond, that is telling me that either they don't know what to say or they're confused. Like it's a simple question. So I have to try that with dating. Like I said, I've only dated a few men this year, and it seems like they only want and years before that too. They don't want a relationship. They just want sex.
Right.
And I'm beyond that. I want a relationship. So if there's any single guys out there that are not bad looking, are secure in their finances, and you want a relationship, or equally attracted to myself, buzz me up. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's a confusing topic. I mean,
Yeah.
being ghosted. Oh, in fact, being ghosted. I was ghosted by iHeart Love Academy. She was supposed to be on the show today. And
Oh,
instead of just reaching out to me, and this is what I mean, she's a relationship coach. Instead
uh-huh.
of reaching out to me and telling me, being a woman enough to text me, email
Yeah.
me, or respond to my emails, I must have texted her and messaged her, went on her platform, and she never got back to me. And she was supposed to be on the show today. So just want to reach out to you. So
Well,
that makes me concerned. She's a relationship coach, but you're ghosting another professional. It's the same thing. Relationships of any kind. You don't ghost people.
Right. Exactly. And at the end of the day, the way I see it when if someone ghosts me or someone says something negative about me, I look at it as an opportunity to grow. And I'm thinking, how would I deal with this conflict? Perfect. I haven't had it before. I'm going to learn how to deal with it. And now I'm equipped to deal with anything else that comes up and letting it go. It's really
Mhm.
key and not focusing on that. And just there's somebody else that's there for you that will get back to you, that has a decency, that has, that politeness to get back to you. And it's not a narcissist.
It's just respect,
It
respecting
is.
each
It
other,
really
having
is.
respect for each other. Well, how do you deal with okay, so you're a matchmaker and you have a woman who hasn't been dating for a while. She's going to be 60 years old. She
Mhm.
doesn't know how to approach. She hasn't, been in with a man for a long time. How would you approach? How could she deal with this? Like do you help her? Like how does she approach matchmaking and dating and
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. I mean, people at that age range have dated or they've been married for years and they're coming back into the dating world and it's so different than it was before. So the first thing I suggest is just to keep an open mind and curiosity and not just date inside the box that you created because you
Mhm.
could meet someone that, doesn't look exactly what you envisioned, but could be fantastic. And just, keep that open mind is super, super important. And like I said, if ghosting happens at any level, then first of all, it's confirmation that that person is not for you, right? So rejection is an opportunity to redirect. And it redirect your intentions, your focus, your energy. Why focus on someone that doesn't want to be there for you the way you deserve, right?
Mhm.
For me, it's a no-brainer. Just move on. Yes, maybe send one last text to say, hey, just want to make sure you're okay. And that's it. And you move on. And is it easy? No, sometimes it's not because you start questioning yourself. Is it me? What did I do? Right. But in
Mhm.
reality, people are designed for different people. And so that was your cue to say, this person is not for you. And you move on to somebody else that will deserve you, that will be there for you and things like that. So open mind, curiosity, and letting go of expectations, I would say, are the top three tips, actually, for any age, not just in their, 50s, 60s.
Well, that's reassuring. I
Mhm.
it's just a different lifestyle. Life changes. You're every decade. There seems like there's something different. And
It
when
is.
you with dating, it seems like it's changed so much. So
I
it's
know.
like they don't. It's so fast. Everybody wants to move so fast. They don't want to. They don't want to like date. They just want to jump in bed and
Right.
get ready to. Let's get. There's no first, second, third. They used to call it bases anymore.
Right. Yep.
Um, fourth base or even, home run, doesn't even get plunk, you're in the dugout, it's like it's over.
Absolutely.
It's just a reassuring that there is a service like this. So, um, if I wanted to sign up, where do I go? Who do I call? Like, does every state have their own like franchise? Is
No, no, no. It's one corporate owned. So no, you could go to talkify.com and there are resources there. We're also on Instagram. I think it's talk. Let me double check the handle. And people can reach out to me directly if they want to as well. Not a problem.
well, like I said, if you want to sign me up as a courtesy, you
Okay,
as
I
an
will touch base.
as a an exam like an experiment and have you back on the show and see if
Yeah,
I find love or anything.
absolutely.
Definitely. I will put your links on the Facebook page
Okay,
for people
yeah.
who
So
want to sign
Talkify
up.
is the handle on Instagram and then on TikTok as well.
And what I think I just okay, that's cool. Okay, well, Marcella, it was so great for you to come on the show today. Thank you so
Absolutely, my
much for being
pleasure.
on our first show, and I hope there's more to
Yeah.
come.
Great to meet you, Jenny.
And thank you so much again for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
you're welcome. Well, that was fun. That was fun with Marcella with Tawkify. We have a few minutes left. I just want to go over. Thank you, Sean, Tara, Kevin, Gina for participating in today. Joe for participating in today. Tish, what do you think?
I thought it was a really interesting show, and I think you should definitely go on this dating site to see if you find love.
Yeah. I don't know what we if you know if they offer it, I would love to. I think it'd be fun, an experiment, and who knows, I might meet the one. We have a few minutes left. I want to just hash out some things that we're going to be doing the next, hopefully, days and well, I guess weeks to come. Next week we have Elizabeth Statlander. I believe that's how you say her name. She's going to be Stedlander. I might be pronouncing it wrong. She is a therapist, and we're going to talk about narcissism. I know that's one of the comments were made. How do you spot a narcissist in a relationship in any part of your life? Family, husband, somebody that you're thinking about dating, a boss, a coworker. How do you deal with them in your life? I know I've had a lot of narcissists in my life, and it's hard to deal with. And you always think it's your fault, that you're doing something wrong. What's wrong with me? Why can't I get this person to communicate with me? That's because they're a narcissist. And there's no matter what you do, they're not going to change. And how can you break free from a narcissist? If you're in a relationship, can your relationship be saved, or is it just, you're just going to torture yourself for the rest of your life? So get out of the narcissist. You don't want it in your life. So we even have a show coming up on how to shave. Men, this will be a good one for you because he's a barber, and he's going to talk about shaving. And we're going to do a lot of different shows, political things like what's going on in Ohio, in Palestine. How can we protect ourselves from disasters like it? How can we prepare ourselves for if there's an emergency situation, what we should have in our house? All these different things we're going to talk about. So if you have any ideas for an upcoming show, we'd love to hear them. If you think you'd be a guest, if you're a writer, author, any kind of financial institution, any kind of broker. We're going to talk about money, politics. Oh my goodness gracious. We're going to talk about trends, what's going on in the trends, cooking, anything that you think you might be interested in, we're going to talk about. Okay. I'm an author. I will be talking about my books and upcoming things that we're going to be doing. I have a couple of screenplays. I would like to get a screenplay writer on. If you want to write a screenplay, come on the show. We're going to talk about it. So any ideas are great. Please drop them in the comments. And we love to hear your feedback. I'm excited. I've always wanted, I should have, I talked about my show before. What can I do? And I can bring in some things that I had on Chasing Prophecy. We can bring stuff up, that we had on Tracing Prophecy. We can do psychic readings if you want. If you want to learn how to palm read, where do I go? How do I get started? There's so much going on right now with the UFO stuff. How do we can spot a real UFO? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Miley Cyrus, but I can buy myself flowers, so I can dance in the nude. Whatever you want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. So I'm excited, Tish. So you can, tell me what you'd like to talk about too, because she's my wing girl. She's in the back. She's going to help me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Whatever we talk about, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, especially since we don't have to hold back.
Yeah, we don't have to hold back. That's what we're not going to hold back. So, well, thank you so much for joining me today on In the Know. Life is art. Live yours in color. So have a great night or afternoon. Enjoy this beautiful weather we're having over here. So I'm going to play our ending and we're going to get out of here. So enjoy the day, guys. If I can find it, that is. I'm going to play the wrong one.